welcome back to our second episode of our second season here on the Love Lounge. We're so happy to have y'all, and we have a great, amazing topic that we're talking
Woo-hoo.
about. We're gonna be talking about. Listen, y'all, we're talking about self-sabotaging sex. But before we jump into this, listen, y'all, we gotta welcome back our sex coach, our sex advisor. Listen, Coach Shanita is in the house. What's going on, Coach Shanita? Listen, she back in here.
Woo-hoo. Hey, hey, hey.
Absolutely. We enjoy her on our last episode. Yeah, she look
Looking
good.
all good.
Look good out here
Well,
out here
thank
in
you.
this storm, in this
Thank you.
snowstorm. You look good
Delicious.
in
Yeah.
this snow.
Yeah. In the snow.
Yeah.
But I'm nice and
That's
warm
the
in
way it's
here.
supposed to be. Exactly what's supposed to be. And you know, we have one of our favorites. Listen, he is the author. He is the life coach. He is the inspirational influencer. Listen, Coach Albie back in the house with us, y'all. Come on. Welcome, Coach Albie.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
Coach
Yeah.
Hey, what's
Albie.
up?
Coach
Hey, what
Albie,
it
how you
do? What it
enjoying
do?
the snow?
So I'm still stuck in it. I mean, it ain't going
Mm,
nowhere. I'm in the Midwest, so whatever fell, it's still here. They just kind of pushed it from the roads onto the sidewalk, so everyone has to walk in the middle of the road now to get where they're going. So, but it's beautiful.
wonderful,
I
wonderful. Well,
love
we
it.
got a little bit here
Yeah.
in Atlanta, and just like it came, it left. Listen, our temperatures took it right on out, so it was just for a minute, just for a minute. It was a quickie. It was a quickie. It was a quickie. But we grateful for the quickie.
Speaking of,
We grateful. We're grateful for the quickie. Thank you, Diesel. Ah, thanks. It
It
did.
came
yeah,
and did what
It
it needed to
did.
do.
you got the job done.
It did. We didn't get that many inches, but it was enough.
Just
Well,
to
you
tickle
don't.
it. Just to
Hey,
tickle you.
Coach Shanita, do you really need a lot of inches? I mean, is that really necessary?
Hey.
Right.
You don't need a lot
That's
as long
good.
as it
Good.
gets the
Good, Coach
job
Anita.
done.
Because what
Yeah.
about
Okay.
I can't speak for everyone,
you can't speak?
but
Yes.
One of our
yes.
followers had that question, so I may ask you that towards the end of our episode here. But that was something that one of our followers that sent me in the email, and I was like, I have to ask Coach Anita about that, or maybe we can come up with a episode about that. But today we're talking about self-sabotaging sex. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about how it can, our choice and partners can adversely affect our mental health. That's what we talk about. It can affect your mental health. Listen, I declare and I
Mm.
decree over so many things that my choices have affected my mental health. I'm not right now because of some of the choices that I made. I, I'm still not right.
Whew. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Okay, we are at the beginning of the year. And what do we do at the beginning of year? We make those New Year resolutions, right?
Yes.
We say we're going to exercise our bodies. Great news. I have an exercise you can do at home in your bed.
Uh-oh.
Burn calories,
Yeah.
stretch, strengthen those muscles. And at
Mm.
the end, if you're doing it right, you are going to feel this explosion of goodness at the end. But that's just one benefit.
Just one.
It's just
Oh,
one benefit. That's
there's
just
more. Ooh.
so that's good. It's for exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we know that sex releases oxytocin, endorphins, and it lowers cortisol. So we're doing away with stress, right?
Mm.
So, and the best thing, again, if we're doing it right, let me lean in on that. If we're doing it right, we'll have good sleep, that deep sleep, that sleep when you tuck and covers up under your neck and you lay on your side
Mm-hmm.
and you almost want to put your thumb in your mouth and that little drool that come down.
Mm.
Yeah, it's that good sleep. Again, if you're doing it right. If you're doing it right.
Mm.
It helps you with your immune system, right?
Oh.
Okay.
Strengthens your pelvic muscles, especially women. our doing after having children and going later in our years, our pelvic muscles they weaken. So sex helps with that. Us that, when we laugh and we had that little pee, y'all know women.
Just a
Come
little bit. It be that if you laugh or either you sneeze, don't sneeze real hard.
on. You
It's
laughing
over.
and you go, oh,
Oh,
you do yeah. Ain't funny no more.
mhm,
Yeah.
Right. Now you over there in moisture and
Yeah.
wetness.
looking
mhm,
looking for a
mhm.
panty liner because you done tore up. But yes,
Yes, yeah. Mhm.
it helps with that. So an orgasm, sex, finishing with the orgasm, if you're doing it right, that is your natural pain reliever.
Mm.
So those that deal with migraines is really good for that. Any kind of aches in your body is good. Sex is good. It's natural and it's fun if you're doing it right.
Mm.
Yes.
If you if you're doing it right.
If you're
If
doing it
if you're
right.
doing it right. If you're doing it okay. And it proves the awareness of your own body. So the more
Mm.
that you're having sex, the more that you're aware of what you like, what you desire. So those are just a couple, just a few benefits of sex.
There's a good physical part of it. Listen, I've shared with some of our friends and some of our followers. I said, listen, I was using it when I had the headache. Listen, when I learned what it did for a headache, I could just have a smidgen of a headache. It ain't even fully there. I just feel like it there. Listen, I started pulling my clothes off because I needed my medicine. Sorry. But yeah, so listen, our coach Anita told us about that physical part of it, how it can help you. But listen, there is a emotional part of frequent sex. Emotional part of frequent sex. We're gonna talk about it. We're not Coach Albert, because we know sex is good. We know it's good. Go ahead, Coach Albert. Let's talk about
Yes, not only is sex beneficial physically, but of course, it is very beneficial for us emotionally. We've seen recent studies within the last several years that actually talked about how satisfying sexual experiences actually boost our self esteem, it boosts our self worth. And produces overall happiness, right? And we know this. Like when sex is done right with the right partner, we feel affirmed at the end of it. You feel validated as a human being at the end of it. It's those affectionate kisses and those caresses, right, that provoke feelings of belonging and acceptance and adoration. And of course, it's that euphoric, I'll say, release that Coach Shanita mentioned that does reduce stress. It also lowers our
it. Yeah.
anxiety and decreases depression, which of course leads to overall better mental health. And of course, these satisfying experiences, they foster trust and they strengthen, intimacy within partnerships or relationships. But I think the key to enjoying these emotional benefits of great sex really lies in choosing emotionally in tune partners. I think that's what's really key. And I think from that perspective, our sexual partners should be people who have some emotional intelligence, right?
Yes,
Got to
sir.
be sensitive to our feelings and
Mhm.
caring, and they should be compassionate lovers. They should be people who we feel connected to in some way, who we trust being vulnerable, naked, and unashamed with. They should be people who like us in some way, shape,
Please.
or form, and someone who we like too. And I think they should be people who make us feel secure in our own skin, right? People who embrace us for who we are. I think unfortunately in the world that we live in today, we praise a lot of the worst characteristics, right? We see it like, in reality TV or whatever. Things like sensitivity and kindness and consideration and just being a safe place for other people. It oftentimes, at least to me, feels like a lost art. I don't know about you all. And I think even more tragic is the fact that we tend to leave all of those wonderful, beautiful traits out of our decision making process when we are choosing who we lay down with. right? It's essentially all about the size. How big is it, and what's the position, and how freaky can you get, right? And what are your kinks, and what are your fetishes, and how soon can you get here, and how many rounds can you go when you do get here? And we
Mm,
don't even take the time to think about that we could be like moments away from giving the very best of ourselves to someone who doesn't even like us, who doesn't even respect us, who voted against us in the last election, who doesn't care about our
Mhm.
happiness, our safety, our feelings and needs. Why? Because they wanted to feel good, or because we wanted to feel good. And I think that's where sex can become self sabotaging, right? When we focus so much on just the physical that we ignore the potential emotional damage that could occur by the people that we are choosing to do it with.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Because a lot of people don't understand like the emotional part of it, the emotional
Yeah.
damage. And while you were talking, it kind of made me think of a situation where there was this couple that I talked with where they were having some issues. And he wasn't, the hugest size. He was quite below average or average, right? Whatever you consider average. 'Cause, some people consider average. And I'm like, good Lord, you ain't got no balls in the temple of the living God. But anyway, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But with this young lady, she was saying that he was very aggressive and he wasn't of a great side, but he was hurting her because
Mm,
of her
mm,
aggressiveness.
mhm,
mm,
But what she didn't know was emotionally he was dealing with that because of what I guess I could say his shortcomings.
mhm.
So he felt like he had to prove something, so it gave him more aggression. And she's like, I don't need that aggression. I need you to love me. I need you to make love to me with what you have. So we have to think about that emotionally.
Sure
Yeah,
we do. Yeah.
we gotta think about that.
Yeah.
right.
So yeah, and Coach Anita, I guess I can ask you this right here real quick before we go to our next part, because one of our fathers had asked, what is too much? Like, what is too much? I know, they're different. The JJs they're
Mm,
built different. You got them shallow, some, look deep. No.
mhm,
But they built different. But the question was, if especially if you have um a male that is very large.
mhm,
Like they brought up one of my situations that they had heard me talk about with a couple where he was 12 and above, like
mhm,
continue going on. And it was just too much for his wife. It was just too much. And she loved him, but it was just too much.
mhm.
So I guess, what is that? What is too much, Miss Shanita?
That's an individual thing. The issue is the person has to speak up.
Mm,
Communication, that that it plays a big part. They have to be honest about,
mhm,
um, how they're feeling, and tell their partner, like, "Look, this position is not working," or "You going all the way in is not working. So we're gonna have to figure it out." There's You don't have to insert your penis all the way in for pleasure.
mm,
It's not
mm.
necessary.
Good.
So that conversation has to be had, and that's the thing, talked about it before, women, we take a lot. We lay there because we were taught that's what we were supposed to do, and we're not enjoying it. We're hurting, or it's either it's just not good, it's not enjoyable, all kinds of things, and we just lay there and take it, and we don't have to. Um, and a lot of times if we do, men will adjust, they're open to it, but we just feel that, we just take it. We think we're gonna, destroy your ego, or if we tell you that you're gonna, leave or not want it. But if I tell you that you're hurting me and that makes you upset, then I don't need to be laying with you anyway. Because
Yeah.
Mhm,
why do you want me to hurt during sex? Why do you want me to be uncomfortable during sex? So those
mhm,
are things to think about, but, it is an individual thing. Some women, say that they enjoy the larger penises, and some say they can't take it, so, I can't speak for every woman. My experience, um, I I would say is not necessary for me. I can say
Hmm.
that. It's not necessary for me because of the way I am, the way my anatomy, I'll say it like that.
Hmm.
It's not
Hmm.
necessary. So, again, it's an individual thing.
And and I
Yeah.
and I think
Yeah.
too, it kind of goes back to, having a partner that is in tune with you, because a,
Mhm.
a woman or whoever is taking that should not have to say, hey, you're hurting me. Like if you have a really good lover, they're gonna know it. They're gonna feel it.
Right,
And they're gonna be
Hmm.
checking in with you throughout. Yeah, you good? With how you feeling? You all right?
yes.
You good? And
Mhm,
they're gonna read your body language. They're gonna see how you
mhm.
move, how you respond to different positions, and they're going to adjust accordingly. Again, that is if you've got someone who is connected and in tune with you. But
Right.
I think that's, which is what we're talking about. Like a lot of times we get into these relationships or and I mean just sexual relationships with people who don't really care about us. Like they don't care that
Mhm.
you're hurting walls and busting down walls. And
Right.
like there are so many men, even in the gay community now, who are having to go and get reconstructive surgery on their interior parts because some guy has just ravaged it, like just gone in and didn't care. And I don't know, why we think it's okay for someone to treat our bodies like that,
Right.
but it's not okay. Like it's not okay, because these
Mhm.
are the bodies that we're with for, until, you know
Mhm.
till time changes over, till we move on to the
Mhm.
next, place and time and space. So you got to be good to your body. You want to take care
Yeah.
of your body, and it's good to lay with people who care about your body too.
Yeah, and we touched on
Absolutely.
that we touched on that last podcast when we
Yeah.
said, you need to learn your person. You have to know your person.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Absolutely.
that takes time to know your person, so you can't
Yeah.
be so quick to jump into it and not have those conversations.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
sometimes it just takes
Absolutely.
looking at the person that you're getting ready to lay with and say, yeah, that ain't gonna work for me.
No thank
That
Absolutely.
ain't
no
You have to be
thanks.
honest. You have to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And all of that you said, that brings me to the point of, on the spiritual side of the benefits of good sex, or, sex, or in that realm, period. You guys said some things that was absolutely amazing. And Albie, how you was talking about you shouldn't have to say that. So a lot of people don't understand about the spiritual connection of sexual intimacy, and that is reading body language. That is the connection. Listen, if you connected to someone, you know when you done hit something that ain't quite right. You know pleasure from pain. You're supposed to know
Mhm.
because of this connection spiritually. So we have to understand that the spiritual connection of sex is discerning, knowing how your partner feel, making sure that they are safe in that moment.
Hmm.
Because like we said, sex is good, but you just got to know how to handle it. So there's an emotional part of it, there's a physical part of it, and we also know that there's a spiritual part of it.
Yeah.
And being connected to certain people, you have to understand that who you sleep with is a spiritual part of your life, and that shows up in your life. So we have to be very, 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 very careful with that. We're gonna keep on talking about that because listen, I got some more talk about that. But listen, 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 listen. We're gonna talk about the types of bad partners and their effect
Mhm.
on us mentally. Listen, I'm
Mm.
telling y'all. I told y'all I got the
Mm.
shake.
You done
So
had some
we're gonna
bad
talk
partners.
about.
You done had some bad
I
partners
done had
too.
some bad partners. Listen. I don't even know how I'm still here. I'm like Dorinda Clark. I am still here.
It's
I
about
don't know how I'm still here. It's by the grace of God.
yeah.
Listen, it's some of the partners I had. Listen, I was supposed to be here. I know. I know. But listen, we go to Miss Shanita and we know that there is a selfish, narcissistic lover. We know about that. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to start with that. Help us out and give us different traits of it. Come on now.
All right. So the self unfortunately, I've had experience with this type of partner, and unfortunately, a lot of us have. We didn't know what we were dealing with. Um, But that mind control and that manipulation, that's that
Mm,
narcissistic partner, right? The one that brings you self-doubt, that has you questioning yourself, the gaslighting, when you know for a fact, but they can convince you that you are crazy and that, well, maybe that didn't happen. Maybe that wasn't said. Maybe I didn't feel that. Maybe I'm over exaggerating. So, and then so the anxiety comes in, right? So when
Mhm.
you're around this partner, you're walking on eggshells because you just don't want to get into those conversations with them. You don't want conflict because conflict leads back into the gaslighting and have you thinking that you're crazy, and then the control and the manipulation, and it just goes around and around and around, and it keeps going, and you forget your needs and your sense of identity because it becomes about pleasing that partner because you
Mhm.
don't want to make that partner upset. Right? And you then it goes into, I need approval from this partner. I need validation because your self-esteem has gone down so far now because that
yes.
partner has made you feel like less than nothing because now you think you're crazy. Now you're crazy. So now I need this partner to boost me back up. Like make me feel, tell me I'm beautiful, tell me I'm smart, tell me I smell good, tell me I do this well. La 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 la. So it's a whole I'm scared to say something. It's a mind, you know what I'm gonna say?
Yeah, I got it. We're on YouTube, but we got it. It
Yes.
is. It
Well,
is.
I don't wanna say it because my parents might be listening,
Right.
right?
Right, right.
Okay, 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 okay.
Say it for me.
Ah,
Say it for me, Alvin. It's a whole
Nope.
mind.
No, I'm not gonna say
Yeah,
it either. I'm scared of your
Alvin.
parents. Look, I'm scared of your parents too.
but it's a whole mind elf game
Yeah.
going around and around and around.
Yeah.
So, yes. And I can continue. We're gonna stop at a narcissistic partner, or we're gonna keep going.
Go, keep on going. Keep
All
on
right.
going.
So another
Absolutely.
partner, and this to me, it kind of goes hand in hand. You're talking about narcissistic partner, and then we're talking about the abusive partner. To me,
Mm.
in my head, they're all the same.
Are you talking about
Yes.
physically or emotional abuse? Like what kind of abuse?
Physical,
Uh,
emotional,
mhm.
mental,
Mhm.
all of it is abusive,
Mm,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
You're going into the depression, you got PTSD,
Mhm.
um, the feeling numb, the feeling numb. I know that I can relate to that also well. Yeah, just you hear things so much, it's like you don't even feel anything anymore. You just accept it and you just you just move through life just I don't feel anything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I've said that so many times in the past. Like I don't and to me I thought it was normal until my friends were like, "What do you mean you don't feel anything?" I'm like, I just don't feel anything because that mental abuse has just had me trapped. Just like
Yes.
that's what it is. You become trapped in your mind and you don't feel safe anymore. Even if it's not physical, you don't even feel safe if it's mental abuse because it's always a constant tear down.
Mhm.
And you go to
Mhm.
the mirror, and because you hear it so often, then you start tearing your own self down. You start saying, I'm
Right.
not
Yeah.
beautiful, I'm not
That's real.
smart, I'm not this, I'm not that. Maybe he or she is right. Maybe I need to do this better, or maybe I need to fix that. I'm not good enough. All those things. All
Yeah.
that's abuse. That's abuse. And then we go to the fetish partner.
Mm. Let's talk about the
Again.
fetish part.
Oh,
Talk about it, coach. Take your
oh.
time. Let him use you, coach.
It's that being desired, but
Yep.
I don't wanna know you. I don't care nothing about you, what you desire, what your future looks like, what your present looks like, what your past look like. I don't care nothing about it. I just want to bone you and that's it because I've this is on
Hmm.
talk about me because you're so chocolate. I've never been with a
Mm,
chocolate woman, and you look so mysterious. Don't know
mm.
name, last name, cousin, aunt, uncles, cousin, nothing. Don't don't care nothing about that.
None of that.
It's because I'm chocolate.
Nestle. You bring that Nestle here.
Hershey's
Ah,
sweet. My goodness. Hershey's
Just
sweet.
because I'm chocolate. But I could
yeah.
be crazy as a bed bug, but just because
Chocolate. That's what
'cause
it
I'm
counts.
chocolate,
That's all that
you mean
matters.
we
Chocolate. That's
gon'
all that matters.
we gonna bypass that. Or I have because I've grown up as a PK, pastor's kid. So that is another fetish because word on the street, a pastor kid, that's the biggest freak. That's the word on the street.
That's what they say. That's what they say.
I
Listen.
cannot agree or deny that. But again, that is another that's another fetish. Like you're not trying to get to know me, you're just trying to, make a check mark beside my name. Or I slept with a PK and she was this and that and whatever. So those are just fetishes and it causes you confusion about your self-worth, right? Because you're like, well, again, you're going back into questioning yourself. Am I good enough or am I only good for sex?
Mhm.
I have said that in my past.
Mhm.
I think that I've said it. I looked in the mirror, I said, that's all I'm good for. The
Mm.
sex. That's all they want me for. They don't want to get to know me. They don't want a relationship, whatever. They just want me for sex. And after you have sex, it's empty because it was no love there, it was no intimacy, it was nothing. It was just someone laying on top of you, having pleasure, you having nothing most of the time, and you just
Mm.
feel like you were just a toy that they played with, and that's really what you were a toy,
Mm.
Mm.
and they played with you until they got tired of the toy and they moved
You
on to the
know,
other toy, to the next toy, alright? So you start being ashamed about your body parts and you're again questioning everything because after the emptiness, they move on to the next toy. So then you say, well, what was wrong with me that they didn't stay? That they didn't want to take it to the next level,
And that
right?
plays that plays on us, Coach Shanita.
Mm-hmm.
Like we see that a lot in the gay community when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to black gays being fetishized by other groups.
Right.
And they will see us for the big black, fill in the blank.
Mm-hmm.
And once they get that,
big plant.
they throw you to the side. Well, because that's the assumption, because that's the assumption about black men. So once they get that and once they enjoy that, then what? I mean, again, these are people who more than likely might have voted against us in the last election. Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
care about our well-being, our where we come from, how we're making it day by day. They just want that tool. They just want that body part, and they
Right.
just see us as body parts, and we pretend like that's okay. We pretend like we're good with it, but
Mhm.
it hurts. Like
Right.
after time, because you're right, coach, you start questioning yourself. Why am I only good for my anatomy? Why am I not also
Yes.
for companionship or for,
Mhm.
like, as someone who can be with any race of people? Why is it that only particular races want to see me in that way? You begin
Right.
to question those things. That's
Right.
good. That was a good call out.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Coach Albie. Because I've dealt with so many situations like that, as I can think of, and I've kind of addressed it. And man, that's the thing about it, because people hear me joking. I say, "Hey, I'm available. I'm out there. Listen, I'm looking. I'm taking applications." But before I even start saying that, I was getting DMs and inboxes of things, and people was like, "Oh, you didn't message me back," or you know, you never reached out or whatever. Because when you started messaging me, you didn't ask me how I was doing. You didn't ask me what my real name was, if that was my real name. You didn't ask me the middle name. You didn't ask me none of that.
Don't
And
take
now
it.
all of a sudden I have this invitation for sex, and I got the pictures to go with it and all that.
Mhm.
So now I'm thinking that all you think of me is as a sexual toy. You
Right.
know, that's all I think of. If that's
Mhm.
the only reason that you are trying to connect with me is because I look attractive or whatever. 'Cause looks can be very deceiving. Just
Very.
because I look like I'm good at it, that don't mean I'm good at it.
That's true.
So
True.
people, do that. And I've had people say to me, you know what? Oh, I wish I could grab you in your robe. We could be in your robe.
Wait a minute. Trying to
Okay.
take
Well,
down.
they done told me, listen, if we go in the pastor's office before or after you, I'm like, you know what time you get off? Because, I just, but I mean, seriously, I've had people to do that. And it's
Mhm.
like, seriously, is that all that you think of me? And now you're bringing my job into it. You want me to wear robes and collars and all that kind of stuff. Okay, now that's a little freaky to me. Like, hold on. When I take off my work stuff, that's my work stuff. Oh, you doing too much for me now. You doing too much. But that's the fetish.
It's a
That's the
fetish.
fetish part. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, but if the right one come around, listen, I be on full regalia. Listen, with the big top hat and everything. This little light of mine. Listen, I'm ready.
Really?
Oh,
So,
goodness.
so we do have those people that are definitely. I'm not,
Don't listen. Let me tell you something. Don't you mess up them garments. Don't you get nothing on them garments now. That's for the church house.
Them prayed over garments.
We done prayed over them garments. Don't you defile them garments out there
listen,
trying to
Whew.
be somebody's
brother, I
fetish.
need you to replay on my garment. It messed up.
Uh-uh. Don't ask us to re-pray over it. We prayed over it one time. We didn't take you out there to be somebody's fetish.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
I cannot.
Oh,
oh God.
that is
So,
Malcolm.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Say what happened. So there, so there are people that are attracted to fetish and parts of you.
Mhm.
And before we go to the next one, I was thinking about this, Coach Anita, and me and Albie was talking about this. I had one of my followers, when I call her my spiritual daughter, whatever the case would be. She was actually in a restaurant with her daughter's father, and she went to the restroom and she came back. And when she came to the restaurant from the restaurant, he was like, "Okay, get up and let's go." She's like, "But we haven't really ordered." And he was like, "Oh, that person was looking at you or whatever the case may be when you walked away, so I'm ready to go." Not thinking, okay, that's what you were attracted to from me in the beginning. You were
Mhm.
attracted to that. So of course, if it's out, other people are going to be attracted to that. But come to find out, that was one of the things that he was attracted to. It wasn't her intellect. It wasn't building this family. It was just a part of her body.
It's her
So
body.
we have to be careful with that. We have to be
Mhm.
careful with that. Okay, now, Albie. We coming over to you, Coach Albie. I'm ready for you to give it to me about the emotional part of the unavailable lover. Because I think I had a few of them too. I don't want y'all to be counting up my lovers, but I think I had a few of them. Go ahead, Albie. Help me.
Yeah, so there are a couple of partners I want to kind of talk through with regards to having a negative impact on us. The first of which, of course, is the emotional unavailable lover. And we have all either been this person or have all been with someone who was emotionally unavailable.
Mhm.
These people, they tend not to bring their deep feelings into the act of sex. They are not interested in appealing to all of your senses. So it's not going to be some type of romantic, intimate moment. They are emotionally distant. And they either fear or avoid intimacy altogether. Now, I will tell you that these people will give it to you raw, rough, and nasty, right?
Mhm.
But they're also giving it to everyone else like
Mhm.
that because they don't care. They don't care
Right.
about hurting you. They don't
Right.
care about your feelings. They don't care about using you as a fetish. They don't care about using
Mhm.
you just because you satisfy kink. They don't bring their heart into it, right? It's
Right.
just really about the physicality of sex.
Mhm.
Your feelings, your deep needs, your desires, they're not important. And they're not consistent, right? These people, they don't care about understanding ways to satisfy you better. They are there with you in the bed, only in body, right?
Mhm.
Again, heart and mind are far removed.
Mhm.
Now, I want to say this about these type of people. These people typically have a really great sex game. And I want to say this about most of the people that we are listening as far as bad partners to have. The sex will more than likely be amazing for the most part because
Mhm.
these people are crazy. And
Right.
and sometimes crazy sex be the best sex.
Oh.
But what we're talking about, what we want to focus on is the effects after the sex is over. How being with that person affects you mentally. So
Mhm.
when it comes to the emotionally unavailable person, these people possess some like a mysterious allure about them, right? And so it will draw you in. You're thinking that he's the strong, silent type, or that she's just the quiet, distant little freak. So you'll engage them sexually in an effort to explore and to understand their psyche, hoping that they're going to show back up for you and actually give a damn about you and your feelings, but they don't. The sex is going to always be consistent and rough and all of that wonderful things that you may like, but at the end of the day, they're going to leave the bed and either go do somebody else or go do their own thing. So don't wait for a phone call the next day.
Don't.
Do not wait for a text message to say, hey, how did you enjoy it? Don't wait for a call to say, hey, I really enjoyed you. Let's go out for coffee later. They're emotionally unavailable people. So that's the first one. The second kind of bad partner, and I want all of my gay brothers, my gay brothers and sisters to come close to the screen. These are the secret DL lovers that we love so very much. The thing that we don't understand is that the feeling of never being prioritized, that feeling of never fully being accepted or embraced, that feeling of not deserving the light of day or the feeling of being adored publicly and openly, that feeling of always being second rate or the side piece option, never having your deep needs noticed or even met,
Mhm.
while you are constantly catering to their wants and their needs and their desires. Doing that, it will rob you of your self-esteem. It will create a mindset of believing that you don't deserve better. And all of your romantic hopes, all of your dreams for how you envision life and love, all of that will bend to this way of life, being with a DL lover, to the
Mhm.
point that you forget all about that you even had other needs. You ignore the fact that you desire fulfillment in other ways, and you start believing and bragging about it like it's a flex to be screwing somebody who belongs to someone else or who
Yeah,
is
that
ashamed
part.
to even say that they know you.
Mhm.
He is ashamed to even claim you. And let's tell the whole truth. Let's just let's go past the bullshit for a moment and let's tell the whole truth. The only reason why many of us gay men accept this is because we have not fully accepted and embraced ourselves.
Mhm.
Okay.
We tolerate being screwed on the low because we are still afraid to live in the light of our own truth. So in a way, I think sex with the secret or DL person, it plays on our own self-hatred, whether we want to admit that or not. It does.
Mhm.
Because what we're doing is we're giving the best of ourselves to someone who is ashamed of us. Why? Because he's masculine? Because he's got that masculine energy? Totally ignoring how dangerous he is, how
Mhm.
inconsiderate he is, how inconsistent he is, or how unpredictable he is. I think I sent it to you, Bishop Q, just the other day. There was an article about a young man who killed his DL lover because the DL lover threatened to tell the wife. We hear about these stories all the time, and it happens with
Absolutely.
trans women all the time, right? where we're hearing the stories about them being attacked or being, unalived because of the fact they were a risk to my truth
Yes.
or the lie, not really the truth. They were really, yeah, they were risking
Mhm.
telling the truth about the lie that you were living, and you didn't want the wifey to find out about it. So we've
Mhm.
got to be mindful of the secret DL lover. And I think the last one that I would want to touch on is the lazy, nonchalant lover, right? These are
Mm.
the people who show little to no effort in satisfying you sexually. They come with a very weak sex
Bare
game.
minimum. Bare
Yeah,
minimum.
trash, garbage. And they don't care about trying to improve it. They don't
Mhm.
initiate sex. They don't initiate dates. They're not trying to have constructive dialogue on how to love you better. Nothing. They show very little interest and affection altogether. No, they're not into foreplay. They just want to sit there and lay back passively, expecting
Mhm.
you to do all the tricks and all the backflips because they are prioritizing their comfort over you, over
Mhm.
your needs, over your health, over you all's relationship. These people will have you working overtime in bed. you know, you are literally
Wow.
driving yourself crazy to keep them engaged while you are usually left feeling unsatisfied,
Mhm.
right? You feel less than,
Empty.
like Coach Shanita was talking about earlier, and you feel
Mhm.
undeserving of better. And I mentioned this before, and I say this jokingly, but in my personal experience, lazy, nonchalant lovers tend to be people who are really, really, really attractive, right? These are like the really, really, really pretty girls or really, really attractive guys. And not all, of course not, right? This is not
Mhm.
an overgeneralization, but in my experience, um, it's those really people who are really, really, really into themselves and into their looks. They tend to be so much about that and that they rest on that, right? Like, so when they show up sexually, it's like, well, I'm pretty or I'm so fine that you should just be fortunate enough to be with me. I don't have to bring
Mhm.
no sex game. I don't have to give it to you how you want it because it's just a blessing just to have me in your life or just to have me by your side.
Mhm.
And I actually have a friend of mine who jokes about this all the time. She'll say, I don't date pretty men. I was like, well, what you mean by that? Why won't you date pretty men? She was
Mm.
like, I date ugly men because ugly men know how to put it down. And so we joke about this often. She says, even if you find an attractive person, make sure that they know how to put it down like they ugly. Make sure
Mhm.
you find somebody who screws like they don't have nothing, no good looks, no charisma, nothing. And all they have is their sex game because those people know how to bring it in the bedroom.
Right.
And of course, we say that jokingly, and not all really attractive people are nonchalant or lazy in the bedroom, but that's been my experience with them. So yeah, that's those are my three people that we should be mindful of as far as bad partners in the bedroom and how they can play with our mind.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I just want to let the people know, our followers and our viewers. Listen, let me tell you something. I've been told that I'm attractive, but let me tell y'all something. Really, underneath here, I'm ugly. I put it down like I'm really ugly. Listen. I done told them I'm Shrek and I am Donkey mixed together. That's what I
Oh,
am. I'm ugly.
that's
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 right. That's
rough.
right.
I'm putting it down like I'm ugly.
That's it. You
Shrek.
don't you don't have to be ugly, but you got to put it down like I don't have nothing. I
Mhm.
don't have no good looks
Right.
to rest on. All I have is the game that I come in this bedroom with. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
And am I
So
lying about it? Like, has that not been experienced with like a lot of lazy, nonchalant guys in the
Yes.
bedroom?
Yeah, and you have to be very careful with the ones that, and not talking about you, Q, but because you just did it, but the ones that announce and say what they can do and how they
Yep.
can
mhm.
hold it down and do this and that.
Nah. Nah.
Lies
Nah.
and deceit.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
can hold it in the road for a good little while. Listen, after that, it's listen. I can keep it. I can keep it
Yeah.
rolling for a little while. You
But
know,
when they when
after
they
that,
ap-
we'll see.
when they approach you talking about their sex game and how they,
Yeah.
not all the time, but 9 times out of 10,
Hmm.
Yeah, thou dost protest too much. Like you talking too much. Meat makes its own
Right.
gravy. Like just get in there and get it done. Show
Right.
don't tell me about it. Show
Don't
me. If
talk
you
me to
got it,
death.
just go on
Hmm.
out there and do it. You know,
Hmm.
you talking too much. You ain't got no
Talking
game.
Right.
too much.
Right.
Yeah,
We don't want to see all that. We want actions,
action.
Mhm.
actions,
You louder
actions,
than
actions.
words.
And Coach Albie, what's so amazing is, and I try to point this out because a lot of people, when they look at the DL lifestyle, they say, okay, these are only men. But I've had situations where I had this couple, and if you follow me for a little while, you've heard about it. There's this couple that they were newly married, and the guy was supporting the wife as she was still going to school. Well, one of her study partners was a female. They got real close. They started sleeping around and doing all this kind of stuff, and the husband never knew. The husband never knew
Wow.
until things kind of took a shift and it came bad and they came to my office like, okay, you need to fix this. And that's when the husband
Mhm.
had to figure out. And he's like, how do you have a DL wife? I'm like, it's possible. And a lot of people
Yeah.
don't understand that there are female and male, they are straight, they are gay, they are whatever
Right.
the case may be. You could have people that are DL in your relationship and y'all are heterosexual. All that means is they're doing something undercover. It is the opposite of what you think. So let's not just put that on one group of people because there's
True.
multiple people that do stuff and they can be very nonchalant. Listen, I'm telling you, especially if I done paid for something to eat, I done paid the bill and all this kind of stuff. You're not gonna lay here nonchalant. You better play. Listen, you better sing me a song or something.
Yeah. Do a little
I'm just
dance,
saying. Do
something.
a little
Yeah.
dance, make a little love, get down tonight, something.
Get
I don't know.
down. Right. Right.
You got
Yeah.
to do something. I don't lovers who lack integrity and morals. Listen, you all, that is very, very important to talk about. That is very, very because people will lack integrity. And when you have someone that doesn't care about those types of things, then you shouldn't be in anything with them because if they don't respect you and they don't have morals to go about, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. One of the first things we gotta know about their health status. Listen, make sure you know what. Listen, pull up the papers. Not on the papers now they got the little thing, the little portal you can look on. What they call it? Uh,
Mhm.
Charts. My
something they call
charts.
it. My
Yeah.
chart. That's it
My
is. That's
charts.
it is.
That's
See,
right.
see, it's been a minute for me since I've been dating. I ain't so
Ain't been a
anyway.
minute for
But my
me. I
chart.
know that.
Mhm.
Pull up the my chart. Let us
Yeah.
know. We need to know about your health status. And that's
All
just
right.
not just sexually. We need to know if you got high blood pressure. Because if you got high blood pressure and then time to go do something and then it don't get right, we was prepared for that because we knew what was going on. So we need to know your health status. Listen, if you suffer from seizures and stuff like that when you get knocked around or something, we don't need to knock you too hard because we're going to knock you into a seizure. So it's good to know about your health status.
Please let me know.
Yeah. Let me know. Yeah. Do I need to take a CPR class before we do this? What I need?
We need to know this. We need to,
Right.
do
Right.
you have heart palpitations? We need to know what
Yes.
happens. Listen,
Yeah.
listen, we need to know all that. Listen, do you
Right.
stop breathing for a minute after ejaculate? We need to know. So
Need to
oh,
know.
they're coming
Yes.
back. They just need a minute. They just need a minute. We need to know that time. No,
Yeah.
ever see you look crazy, you done pass out. It is normal.
Woo!
Now we done call your mama and everything, talk about some how they pass out. I was on
Um,
top of them. See, that don't work. Don't be trying to color puppy me. No, no. So those things are very, very important. Listen,
Very
and you have to
important.
be clear about your intentions. Listen, if
Mhm.
this is just a situation where we got good
Mhm.
sex going on, or whatever the case may be, we have those intentions. Let's express that. Listen, don't be trying to marry me in the next 3 weeks because I'm not trying to get married for the next year or so. So those are
Uh-huh.
intentions that you have to bring out to people. He said, listen, I don't care how good this about to be. I'm not coming back next week. Listen, these are in the intentions you have to let people know about. And
Mhm.
if you're looking for something more on that sexual level, you need to let those, intentions. So you have to let the intentions, be clear about those types of things and be honest about your history. Listen,
Right.
be honest about your history. Listen, you talking about some, I'm not used to all this and all that kind of stuff. And if we really look up your history, you got about 16 people chained to you. Listen, your body count is ridiculous. So just be honest. Just be honest. Just be honest. Just be honest about your
Yeah.
history. Cause
Yeah.
see, then you get with you and you talking about you was the very first one, and then I found out you slept with my first cousin and my daddy and my uncle. No, daddy,
Cousin and daddy.
What?
yeah,
Lord
all
Jesus.
of them. I'm from Georgia, and we down there in the South, and things didn't get to mix around. So
Mm,
never. Hey, y'all don't
no
know nothing
judge.
about up there.
It's your business.
Not screwing my second cousin. That's not happening. We're not doing that.
But that's see. What about the third?
I'm not screwing my third cousin either.
He
Well,
had a
See,
thing.
how cute is he? How cute is he?
see, I'm not doing this with you. I'm not.
How cute is he? No, I'm joking.
Lovers with substance abuse problem. Listen, you
Mm,
absolutely have to watch out for those lovers with substance abuse problem. Listen, because that could be very, very dangerous. I don't think a lot of people understand that, when we take on certain characteristics, when you're sleeping with a person, body fluid, especially if you raw dog it, whatever
Mm,
they ingest, those kind of things, you take on those type of things. So you sitting up there wondering why you high. 'Cause he smoked weed all the time. And he done raw dogged you to death. And then you have too. But it's very important because, substance abuse, they can take your focus off your partner. And it could
mhm,
cause your
mm,
partner to be withdrawn. Or
mm,
depending on what you use it can cause your partner to be a little too much intimately because they
mm,
are taking a certain enhancement that may be
right.
too much for you, and you're not on that enhancement. So they want to go 6 hours, and you like I can only do 2.5.
That's good,
So
Q. Good. Yep.
so substance
Yep.
abuse problem is very, 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 very important. So speaking with the people about those things, and if they can't deal with you can't handle that, then you don't need them in your life. They're just my my. And then besides, you don't need listen. They be done, did it real good to you, and then next time the microwave missing out of the kitchen because they had to go get high and all the kind of stuff while you fell asleep. They done put you in the bed and done stole the bed, the couch, the refrigerator, and all that.
Not big.
Make sure you check out the substance abuse. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
You up
Listen,
there not out sleep. Your house is cleaned out. They
Clean.
done took
clean
everything.
out, clean out. Listen, you wake up, things is different.
Whew.
Very, very different. Absolutely. Listen, and
That's a
y'all,
good
we have to look out for one great one. The person that does not love themselves. Listen, you cannot expect people to genuinely give themselves to you if they don't know how to give themselves to themselves. If they don't
Mhm,
know
That's
how to
good.
love themselves, if they don't know how to do self-care, if they don't know how to focus on how to make themselves greater and better, how can they do
mhm,
the same thing for you? How can they
mhm.
do that for your relationship? So if they don't know
Yeah.
how to love themselves, you might want to watch out. Those are some
Right.
things that you need to look out for. So look out for them. And listen, like Shanita said, listen, now I ain't saying they gotta be thinking about toenail, but make sure they at least clip them at least every once in a while. So if they don't clip their toenails, then that's letting you know something that they don't even love themselves enough. So y'all might just want to watch out for that thing. I'm just saying, watch out, watch out. Listen, y'all, we almost out here, but we gotta give y'all some tips for the best sexual partners. Listen, the best sexual partner. We're gonna give y'all
Ooh.
some tips. Y'all know we gotta go with our sex coach. She coming first. Now, come on, Miss Anita. Give us our first tip for the best sexual partner.
The best tip for the best sexual partner, I would say, and we and all of us have touched on this, but first, we have to be honest with ourselves. I have to keep going back to that. I have to keep going back to that. And I know nobody wants to hear that, but we have to be honest with ourselves. And I'm going to talk to the woman right now. Not all women falls in this category, but most. Can
Mhm.
we be honest and say that we do want someone in our lives? We want to feel special. We want to feel loved. We want to feel wanted, desired, needed. Can we tell the truth? It is a thing now. It is a trend. It's been a trend for a long time. Again, I'm not talking about every woman. I'm not. But I will talk about the women that I am around, and they desire to be with someone, but it is popular to say, I don't need. That's the thing. I don't need nobody. I don't need this. Honey, it's because you haven't run into the right person. That's why. That's why. You're still in your past. Or you're looking at social media and seeing what other people are
Mhm.
going through. That's not your
Mhm.
story. You have
Absolutely.
your own story, but you're not, again, you're not being honest. And how how can you say that you don't want anyone to look at you and say that you're beautiful? Or someone who just thinks about you all day and picks up the phone and calls you, or better yet, FaceTime you because I just got to see your face. I need to see your
Mm.
smile,
Mm,
your eyes. I got to hear your voice. Are you trying to tell me you don't want someone to just randomly come and just bring you something that you randomly mentioned that you wanted? Weeks ago, you thought about it. You don't haven't even thought about it anymore, but they bring it because you mentioned it. You don't want someone to plan trips and take you out and show you off. You don't want someone to learn your body and to make it their mission that you are pleased in every way.
mm,
Are you serious? So you're telling me you don't
mm.
desire that?
I want it. Oh wait, you talking to the women. Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah,
Sorry.
well,
Excuse me.
I know, Albert,
So
we just overstepping. She talking to the viewers. We just all up in it. That's I
Oh,
do it. Me.
thought she was ministering to me, but she's talking to the ladies. All right.
so and but that can go with men too. It can go with anyone. How can you say that's not what you want? You don't want someone to love you and adore you? So again, being honest with ourselves, that's how it starts. And then having that communication when you have that person, communicating your desires, communicating your needs. And it's very important to communicate our desires and our needs to our partner. Again, going back, we touched on this, not just accepting and settling for anything, but communicating and knowing yourself first. That self love, knowing yourself. That's the start of picking out a good person for you. It's not about them, it's about you knowing yourself and what you want and what you desire, what you can handle, w- what who someone who is going to respect your hard nose and your hard yes. That is very important
Mm-hmm.
that you're not, compromising those
Mm-hmm.
things.
Mm-hmm.
Because a hard no means I am not, with a hard T, I'm not going to do this at all. Example, my hard no. I don't know if we touched on this before the last podcast, but I'll say it again. My hard no, I am not going to play in feces during sex. That is my hard no. I'm not going to yuck anybody's yum up here, but I'm speaking for myself. I do not desire, and if you come to me with feces, there is going to be. That made me hot. Made me, that made me. That pissed me off just talking about. If you come to me talking about that you gonna spread some feces, we gonna have a problem. So, so yes, and I mean that with every fiber of my being.
Every
She
part of
made it.
me.
She made it. She made it. Oh God.
Woo. Again, I'm not yucking anybody's yum, but I'm speaking
No,
for Shanita.
yeah. And and apologies to those in our listening audience who might be into scat.
Yes. Yes.
We
And
don't
that's
mean
okay for you.
There'll be no harm. Won't be no harm at all.
we just saying for us, that's a hard no.
Yes.
So,
Mhm.
For me in my house.
me and my house,
For me in my house.
that's a hard no.
It's a hard no.
Hard no.
Hard no. Okay.
Mm.
And then we go over to the yeses. I'm not gonna compromise those either. So if
Ooh,
that when I say a hard yes, that means that this is something that I really desire. I have to have
gotta have it.
this. If this does not occur during intimacy, then it's a no-go. We're wasting time because I'm gonna get bored. I'm gonna move on. So it's just no need for us to go forward. All right. So
That's
that is
so good.
my definition of a hard yes. I'm not going without this. Example of a hard yes. I'm not going without um oral sex. That's a hard yes for me. If you again, it just made me hot again. If you come to me and say oral sex is nasty, I can't again, that's your business. It can be nasty for you. It can be nasty for you. For me in my house. My house. Me. That's a hard. That's mm-mm.
Mm.
I'm gonna take you by your hand and say, you know, it was nice meeting you. May heaven smile upon you as
Mm.
you go forward to finding your person. Because baby,
I'm not it.
I'm not the one.
Mm-mm.
In
Mm-mm.
Jesus' name.
You
Go
sure?
in Jesus'
Or whoever name they wanted to be in. Just go.
name. Go ye therefore.
Yeah.
Be blessed
To another nation. Because this
on your
nation
journey.
right here don't want to hear that. Go to another nation. We.
Coach Shanita, I love that. Like, we always talk about the hard no's, but
Hmm.
yes, there has to be those hard yeses that say, because that's a sign of self-love.
Right.
That I'm not going to settle for any kind of sex that does not include this right here, because that's what I need. That is what I desire, which we talked about
Mhm.
on our last podcast. So not only should we have hard no's if we have those, but hard yeses as well.
Yes.
That's good. I love
Yes.
that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think from a spiritual point of view, just speaking on that, a lot of people have different ways to go. And it's like, Albie said, we're not against people that are interested in scat. We're not
Mhm.
against it. We're not against if, you don't like oral sex. We're not against it. And if
Mhm.
it's against your spiritual beliefs and boundaries, that's on you. We're not. We're
Mhm.
not. We're not doing all that. But
Yeah.
from a spiritual point of view, they asked Jesus' disciples, they're like, wait a minute, they don't wash their hands before they eat. Like, what are they doing? And Jesus like, you really worried about that? You really worried about that? You got enough going on within your house to be
Mhm.
worried about them doing what they're doing. It's
Right.
not what, goes in, it's the defiles a man. It's what comes out. So he
Mhm.
was like, letting them know what defiles. So a lot of times, when we take religion and things like that, and God's not pleased with it, God's not pleased with it. Listen, I believe everything that he said that he wanted to be, sincere and just straight on point about. He said, "Do not do this." He didn't say, "Do not do this." So me and my co-host, we said, "We gonna do this."
Right.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Mhm.
And speaking of that, Coach Albie, so I guess we get to the point where we say, do we want sex or do we want intimacy? I mean, which one?
Yeah. Well, no, I think that's my second tip. on choosing the best sexual partner, find out from within yourself first, what is it that I want? Getting clear about that. I think Coach Shanita kind of alluded to that as well too. But it's really about taking a quick pause to figure out if you're looking for a quick release or a more meaningful sexual experience. Again, we're not talking
Mhm.
about marriage or long. What do you want out of the experience of sex? Is it just a quick release, or do you want something more meaningful? Now, however you answer that question, it is your business. It is your
Mhm.
prerogative, but be mindful that the quick releases and the hot fixes, they will oftentimes lead us to being less mindful about who we engage with, right? Which could leave us feeling horrible, empty, worthless on the inside after we come down off that great climactic high.
Mhm.
But if you're looking for a deeper, more intimate sexual experience, then you got to be mindful to choose partners that can offer that. Consider partners who really care about you as a person, not just your body part.
Right.
Either way, I think you should just stop for a moment to ask yourself what it is that is really what I want. I think that's super important to not having self-sabotaging sex.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And a quick question I want to ask: do you think it's possible, Coach Anita, either one of you guys, to have both? Because see, like I be telling my business, like I said all the time. It might be a good mama. Well, listen, we busting it down. Like we gonna have this sex. Like we listen. I'm about to do it. Like we dating now. But then there may be times where it's like, okay, no, okay, we're on the intimate level. Listen, let me put out like the strawberries or the petals and things like that. So, is it possible to have both?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would
Absolutely.
say it is. I mean, again, we're not really talking about what you do. It's the person that you're choosing to do it with. The
Right.
right person, a quick fix can be fun and wonderful. And
Mhm.
afterwards you feel great on the inside,
Right.
and a more intimate, experience with that same kind of person, of course, will be rewarding and wonderful as well. My point is that if you are just looking for a quick fix, be careful, because when you're moving in the energy of just getting a quick fix, you don't take the time to think about being picky, or being more selective about who you choose for the quick fix. And
Mhm.
when you don't take the time to think through that, we end up screwing people and being left screwed
Right.
in the end,
And
mentally, emotionally, physically,
right.
whatever.
Especially with women, we are emotional creatures. So again, another lie that we tell ourselves, again, I'm not talking about all women, but a lie that we tell ourselves is that we can just hit it and quit it and not be attached. That is not always the case, especially if you give yourself to somebody and especially if it's a thing, it becomes a thing, like every 3 days or every week or whatever. After a while, we start getting attached emotionally, and then when that person cuts you off, there you go in your head. It is right here. Well, there you go. Well, what's wrong with me?
Right.
Why? Because
Mhm.
you have taken you have taken it and went somewhere else with it, and it was only supposed to be a quick fix. So we have to be honest with ourselves, ladies. Be honest. Be honest. Especially when a guy tells you, "Look," or a woman, whomever you're with, "Look, this is just sex. That's it. That's all. Don't take that and here's something. We're gonna get married later on down down the line." That's not what they said. They said, "This is just sex." Now, you have to be honest and say, "Can I deal with that?
Can I handle that? Yes.
Can I handle that?"
And don't let your
Mhm.
body part speak for you, because the body part will say,
Right,
yes, I can handle that.
right,
Right.
right. So, yeah, we have to
Yes,
as
I can handle very well.
yeah. As Alvin said, we have to pause. We gotta pause for a minute. Pause for a minute. Is it worth it? Is this 20 to 30 minutes or what, however long, is it worth my mental?
That's
Absolutely.
good.
Absolutely. I agree
Well,
with you. It's worth the mental part of it. Because see, half of messed up. That's why I be telling people, listen, we don't need to do you like that. Don't mess up the mind. I mean, that's what folk won't do. They don't be doing right and all that kind of stuff. And the thing about it is communicating your boundaries. your desires and needs before sex. Listen, do not, do not get me in position and then you come out, well, I don't do that. Well, I wish we had to discuss this before we got here. Cause now, like I'm supposed to need to say, what we doing?
What we doing,
What we
honey?
doing? What we doing? Cause you didn't discuss that. You didn't let me know everything. So we need to know what we doing. I thought I thought it was mean everything on the burger, all the stuff around the meat. You just want to pick out stuff. This ain't no good burger situation. Listen, we supposed to be smashing and things, with everything.
Smash burger. Right.
This smash burger. Listen, you want to take off the pickle. You want to take off the tomato. Listen, what kind of smash is this? Well, so listen, we know that before we get to these boundaries, I mean, before we get there and get to sex and intimacy,
Mhm.
we need to know what you willing to do as Coach Anita said, your heart, yes, your heart, no. We need to know that before we get there.
Mhm. One of my I already mentioned one of the red flags when they come with all that mouth.
Absolutely.
all, all that mouth of what they can do and how they can do it and how they gonna have you looking for them in the dark and looking for you in the bushes and all that other stuff.
Trash, garbage.
Flags, just is red flags all over the field, all over the field.
So, Coach Albert, you got to give us another tip. Tell us about it, Coach Albert. Tell us.
So, kind of like what I said earlier, it's okay to be picky. Like, it's your body, and you got to know that you deserve the best. It boils down to what I like to call this simple thought. I'd rather have 4 quarters than 50 pennies when it comes to sexual partners. Rather have 4 quarters than 50 pennies, right? It's great to be sex positive. You won't find 3 more sex positive people than the 3 that you're looking at on your screen. And we want you to enjoy sex how often you choose to. But
Mhm.
quality should matter. Quality should matter more than quantity, right? Your body is beautiful. You are unique. You are amazing. And, I believe if you're going to share it with others, great. But consider selecting people who can offer you the quality of experience that you deserve. People who are going to celebrate you for being the size, color, shape, mindset, all of you, every part of you, right?
Mhm.
And don't run yourself ragged trying to toggle 50 cheap pennies, right? Keep you 4 shiny, high quality quarters in your pocket. People who you know will value and reciprocate all that you give. So again, that's just my tip. Again, you take it or leave it, but 4 quarters is better than 50 pennies in my book.
Mhm.
I agree. I agree. Get you the right kind. So I'm
Yeah.
going tomorrow and I'm ordering 4. Anyway, um,
I cannot.
I I
What's your
I think my tip. I got to say my
yeah.
tip. My tip, Albie, is that you absolutely have to make sure you're not masking sex for trauma and pain because that
Mm,
is one way to go into a sabotage sex life. Like when you are
yes.
masking it with trauma and pain. And it could be something that took place in your childhood. It could be something that has happened as, you've gotten older and relationships just didn't go out well. So you have to be careful with that because I've had situations where, I'll be honest, I've had situations where it has been me and I've helped people in counseling where it has been where I'm like, you know what, why am I in this situation? It was because of pain, it was because of trauma that I was masking. So you have to be very, very careful. You have to be careful not to
Yeah.
Mhm.
mask that with sex because it could sabotage your sexual life. And not only that, now there are people that you may be caring about or that you're intimate with that you are bringing into that sabotage. That is just not good because you haven't healed from the pain and the trauma that's in your life. So I
Yeah.
think we absolutely have to be aware of that. We have to be aware of
That's a
that.
good
Now,
one.
listen, y'all. Y'all already know I be telling my business all the time. Listen, I guess if anybody gonna confess, the bishop need to be the first one to confess. If preachers would be the first one to partake, it would be all right with me. So
Ah.
Tell your
listen.
testimony.
I've been t- I've been telling my business the whole time. I be okay. So let's see. I done had multiple parts of these types of lovers and all that kind of stuff. I done had narcissistic and selfish and abusive. Thinking about narcissism, it's when people make you feel like you're the problem when obviously they are the issue. Um,
Mhm.
or it's always you and it's never them. I find that very, very, very I guess immature in a relationship because you are two people that are working together. So it has to be a 50-50 type balance. It has to be a working together effort. So when you have someone that is narcissistic, you have to be very careful with that. I've had people like that, and what it did was it made me lose myself. It made
Right.
me wonder, like, who am I? Okay, well, maybe I'm not really a good lover. Maybe I'm not a good supporter, or whatever the case may be. And then when you lose yourself, you are no good to anyone else. So,
Mhm.
being in a relationship like that will mess you up. And I've been there. So I was messed up. Listen, y'all, I didn't know if I was hitting the Lord. I didn't know if I was hitting Mother May I from down there at the voodoo
Mhm.
shop. I didn't know who I just didn't know. Cause I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, that person is a narcissistic person because now I'm not only losing this relationship, but I'm losing who I am. So we have to be careful. So I've been there. I've been there. I've been there.
Yeah.
All right, Coach Anita, come on now. Come on, tell us. Come on, testify. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. I've touched on uh those different partners, the narcissistic, the abusive, the fetish partner. Like I said, I think to me, narcissism and abusive kind of goes hand in hand.
Mhm.
But I was with someone for a while, and I didn't know I was going through it then until many years later. But I do remember one instance. They started a new job, and a lot of uh people they were around were married, and you know they just did more things that we were not able to do at the time, especially financially.
Mhm.
And I remember one day he came home and said, why aren't you like those other women? Why can't you do this, or why can't you afford to do that?" And la 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 la. And at that moment, I didn't say anything, but I remember going to the bathroom and just like boohoo crying because I'm
Wow.
like, like what? Like I was stuck, numb. That started the numbness right now. Just and I remember after that, I just, you know, I started looking, like trying to go to school and trying to fix myself up better, or just trying to make myself fit into this mold. And I remember after that, like eventually I did pray this person away because I just got tired and whatever. But still, the effects are still there because even he was gone, he had F this up right here. So I
Mhm.
remember like going into depression. Like I laid
Mm.
on my couch for, I don't know how long, it was probably months because I wouldn't even go into my bedroom. And the only thank God for my daughter at the time, she was young, but thank God because she is what kept me here on earth because he had
Mm.
F me up so much. I was just like,
Mm.
I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be here, blah, blah, blah. And I allowed, even after that, again, remember, he messed me up so much. Now I still needed that validation for him.
Mm,
So after a while, he contacted me and I allowed him to come back in because he was able to woo me and tell me all these things that I needed to hear. And that continued on for many years, you know.
right.
So yeah, it's just you just gotta be careful. Those red
Yeah,
flags, and just pay attention. Pay
Mm.
attention.
absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. Absolutely. Coach Alvin, I know you got a testimony. You better testify. You better testify. Go ahead and testify, Coach Alvin.
So, the one that stands out for me as far as bad experiences. There was someone who I was talking to. Um, we connected and it was amazing. Like the sex was like amazing, right? Like really good. And but I noticed every time right before we did it, the person stepped out of the room and came back. So I'm thinking, okay, well maybe they're just, getting themselves together, fixing themselves up, making sure that they're ready. And we get into it, it would be awesome. And it was like almost scary awesome. Like it was so good to the point it was like, this is crazy good. Then I started to develop feelings and I had a conversation with them. I was like, I want to take you out. Let's, do X, Y, and Z. They had a birthday coming up. So I came to the house to pick them up and they were like, I know you've made plans. I know you've planned dinner. I just can't do it. And I was like, why? Why can't you? I'm gonna go do something else. And I'm trying to figure out like what happened? Like we've been connecting, it's been really great. Like, what's going on? And I asked the person, I said, what happened? Like I've been showing you that I'm interested, the sex has been great. Like what am I missing? They said to me, um, I know that you've been present, but I don't know if it is the drugs or if it's reality. This person was addicted to meth, really, really, really bad,
Mm.
and I did not know it. And I tried for a very short period of time after that to love that person out of their addiction because I
Mhm.
really liked the person. And I mean, it was a really good vibe, not just sexually, but we vibe well. But
Mhm.
then I started thinking, well, like if the sex was fake, like how much of even the personality of us vibing was really the person or the drugs?
Mhm.
And I felt like crap. Like hearing someone say that every effort that you've given them, they
Mhm.
don't know if it is reality, like if someone is really loving them, or if it's the drugs that has them
Mhm.
thinking that. It crushed me. That crushed me, and and I said, I can't do that. I can't do someone who's addicted to a substance because
Mhm.
I need to know that you see me, the effort that I put in. I need to know that you see it, that it's me.
Mhm.
And yeah, so yeah, that was
Yeah.
my experience. Someone who was
And
addicted to drugs.
and we need to know who the real person is. We need to know who the real you is.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, okay, listen, we need to know if you can't go get your drugs and you putting it down next week when you can't get it, what we gonna be putting? What you gonna be putting? Like we
Mhm.
need
Yes.
to know these things. We need to
And
know.
and and then I started, like, piecing stuff together, and it was like, moments where I was trying to be spontaneous, it was like,
Mhm.
"No, no, no, let's plan it." And I was like, "Okay, well, maybe I'm just, too enthusiastic and wanna give some time to give person some time to prepare," but no, they was trying to get their high on so they could probably be with me, and that was really
Mhm.
sad, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know this person told me once before, he's like, I cannot go through life sober. I just cannot make it through life sober. And I'm looking at this person, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I've been knowing you for years. I know you had some issues, here lately, but I've been knowing you for years. So back then, they're like, yeah, yeah, I was getting high, I was doing all that back then. And I'm like, you literally cannot go through life sober. So I started to see why a lot of that person's relationship wasn't lasting. And like I had to tell them, okay, listen, I'm your friend. But this is why your relationship's not lasting because they don't truly know who they're getting. When you coming off, you're a different person. When you up, you're a different person. When you're in the middle of it, you're a different person.
Mhm.
So they don't know who you're getting, so it wouldn't last. So I can see how a lot of relationships,
And you can't connect.
people,
You can't
yeah,
really connect
yeah,
and build any true intimacy because you don't know if you have the real person or not. And they don't
Right.
know if you're the real person or not because the drugs have them in la la
right,
land.
And I can
yeah,
relate to that real quickly. I was dealing with someone, and I actually had a dream about this person doing drugs. And
Wow.
I'm a dreamer, and sometimes God just reveals things to me. So I went to that person the next day and I was like, I had this dream, da 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 da. And they shared with me that, they were addicted to pain medicine and they were actually, you know, crushing it up and whatever. Again, just like you, I was like, well, as long as you're getting help, I'm gonna try to love you through it, da 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 da, da," until, and it just like you said, like in the morning, they were like this calm, like would pray over the phone, and I want to pray for you and God and da da da. Da,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, this
Yeah.
is wonderful.
Thank you, Lord.
Yeah. And then at night, it was this crazy person, like,
Mhm.
just like and then the last day is like I was sitting on the bed and they stood over me and just crazy and just calling me all kinds of names and because I didn't hear what they said because they were in another room and I said, I didn't hear you. And I don't know, it triggered them or something. And they was like, "Da," I mean, standing over me. And at the time, no one knew where I was and I knew that he had weapons in the house, so what I did, I waited
Oh,
for him to go to the bathroom, and I got in my car, and from that day, this one ain't never communicated with him, but yeah, it's just just things you just have to pay attention. Thank God for God
yeah.
for revealing that to me, because that
Yeah.
coulda really went another way.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, self-sabotaging sex. And I'll finish up with this one. I had a couple that I was dealing with, and God, this has been so many years ago. I was thinking about what should even talking, but it's been so many years ago. But I'll never forget. She came and talked to me, and she's like, Bishop. She walked in on a Sunday morning before church. Bishop, I can't take this gummy worm no more. I can't take this. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, Bishop, it's gummy worm. I can't take it no more. I'm not happy. Ain't nobody happy in my house. I can't take the gummy worm. Tell him to leave the substances alone. And I'm sitting there trying to be professional. So I gotta call this husband in and be like, listen, your wife said she can't take the gummy worm no more. But I'm trying to be professional, like, brother so and so, I know you've been had this problem, like, you know, you on these substances and it's affecting things. Yeah, I know, but I be feeling it. I be feeling it. If the mindset be there, but it just don't be there now. I said, okay, so you gotta have some balance somewhere. So I think that's why it's so important that we have to be careful with people that have substance abuse problems because what they'll do is their mindset is, I have to have this for my
Mhm,
sexual drive to be a certain kind of place. And then once you got accustomed to it, I have to add more to it. I have to add more to it. So the sexual part of you is not working, it's just in your mind now. But we need
mhm.
it to be more than in your mind. We need it in other places.
Right, right, right.
So yes, but she was so adamant about this. She's like, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this gummy worm. Like, and
Gummy
and to
worm.
this day, that's the
Gummy
reason.
worm.
Yeah, that's the reason why they departed because he was on a substance problem, and
Yeah.
Mhm,
it was affecting that. And
mhm,
at first, they had expressed, okay, oral was really good for them, but she's like, there's more. I want more. I'm used to more, not just oral. So, they tried to work through it at first. It just wouldn't work. So, listen, you might want to have balance if you want to get high or whatever you're doing over there. And then you might want to leave it alone because it affect you after a while. And then your partner sit there and they're like, I
mhm.
know that you didn't bring me this. You got-
All right. All right, boys and girls. Let's wrap this up because we have gone to the
listen,
other side.
listen, y'all. Listen, y'all. So,
That's a gummy
listen, y'all.
thing. Whoo!
So be careful. You might
Oh,
be
poor
sabotaging
thing.
yourself sexually. So just be
Um,
very, very careful. You might be sabotaging yourself. Listen, y'all, we've had an amazing, amazing time talking about self-sabotaging sex. So we're gonna talk to our co-hosts as they give us our closing remarks. We're gonna go right on to our sex coach. Come on, Miss Shanita, give us our closing remarks.
hey, love yourself, know yourself, know what you desire, know what you need, and go after that and don't settle for less.
I
Sound
love
good to me. Sounds good to
it.
me. Coach Alvin, come on. What you got to tell us, Coach Alvin?
I would say, sex is wonderful. It's a great thing. You should be enjoying it for all of the many reasons that we listed. But it's important to choose the right partners. Whether that's a quickie, whether that's something long term, whether it's just a friend with benefits, doesn't matter. You still deserve the best quality in a lover. Never settle. Never settle.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Never settle. So y'all heard it from our crew. You heard it from my co-host. Not to settle. And listen, be careful of the red flags and all that kind of stuff. Listen, don't self-sabotage yourself. Even if you in a relationship, listen, and you doing extra stuff on the side, listen, think about it. Stop self-sabotaging your sexual self, your mental health, and all that kind of stuff. Listen, get it together, people. Get it together. Listen, we have enjoyed y'all here in the Love Lounge. Listen, talking about self-sabotaging sex. Listen, we got to get out of here, y'all. We got to get out of here. Y'all be on the lookout for our new flyers and our new topics, which will be posted. Y'all be on the lookout because we coming back real soon. All right, till next time, y'all. We out of here. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.